Hello and welcome to today's lunchtime news edition with me, Wadulo Mark Arnold. This 21st day of January 2022, we now take you into the news in detail. Now, imagine being motivated to work abroad only to end up living in a dehumanizing form of environment. Now, this is the story of a 29-year-old Rebecca Ahimbisiwe who spent nights on verandas of Dubai and in the United Arab Emirates. It took the intervention of State House Anti-Corruption Unit to save her from the jaws of death, as Henry Okrut reports.
Saved by the bell, right on time. This is the kind of happiness that these sisters expressed after one of them nearly met her creator before time. 29-year-old Rebecca Ahimbisiwe had been motivated to work abroad by her relatives. On reaching the airport in Dubai, she met the unexpected.
Then he drove the car. I thought he was taking me maybe to Dubai town or what. But he took me to some far place. It is just near the borders of Oman. You just pass through the desert. You take like 2.5 hours to reach.
If this were a movie, this was just the beginning of her predicament, going by what happened the first night and the next morning.
I was tired. I slept on the carpet just like others did. I waited. In the morning, they just give you tea in the morning with a small bread, lunch tea with small bread, just like that. That is their food.
Not willing to take it anymore, she demanded to return to Uganda, only to be told like this.
Then she was like, to go back, you have to pay 6 million because I bought you. Then I told her, you bought me? Then she was like, yeah. But me from Uganda, I knew I bought my ticket, I bought my visa, so I didn't know that there is someone who bought me.
Her ordeal was unknowingly being shared by her family members, who were worried, having not heard from her since her departure. Then came the bombshell in this audio that she shared with her sister, Ruth Namara.
She was crying, saying she has been mistreated, she's miserable, she wants to come back home, and she was like, please, people in Uganda, do whatever you can do so that we are saved.
It took the intervention of her family to ensure her sustainability while in Dubai, as the process for her return to Uganda was still being worked on.
They are telling her she can't travel because her passport has been blacklisted. So they tried and connected with that guy of the company, the agent, to do whatever possible so that my sister can come back.
And finally, she was on the plane, something she nearly thought was a dream.
I was so happy. On the plane, I could just thank God. Because it was very harsh there, because I knew I was coming to my home country, which is good.
The day they told me your sister is going to fly back home, I couldn't sleep because I was waiting to see her.
The State House Anti-Corruption Unit played a key role in her rescue.
Because many people have died in those countries, but we thank the Anti-Corruption Unit that they did whatever possible to bring her back.
This is just one of the many cases of migrant workers that the unit has rescued from dehumanizing treatment in the Middle East.
We were able to coordinate with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the Ministry of Labor and Gender, and our embassies in Middle East countries, and we helped the girls and the women majority, over 600 of them who were engaged in domestic work.
Going forward, Nakalema has a word for parents.
Before we let our children go, let us know what they are going to do, but also let's not allow these labor export companies to just take our children and not follow them up.
From operating a retail shop in Uganda to attempting to become a migrant worker in Dubai and back to Uganda, the 29-year-old Rebecca Ahimbisiwe is now jobless. From this experience, aspiring migrant workers could learn a thing or two. Henry Okrut, UBC.
In the pursuit of happiness. Thank you, Henry Okrut. Now, prioritizing the Patient's Rights and Responsibility Bill and the National Health Insurance Scheme is the solution of fighting corruption in hospitals. Now, this follows increasing detainment of patients in hospitals against their will for non-payment of bills, which has led to loss of lives, as Sudat Kaye reports.
Mwana afuluma alimukufuluma ne bazulusa mu ddwaliro e Mulago naye omwami wange yataliiwo agenda okutegeera nga ntuuse mu ddwaliro naye nga omwana agala kufuluma kati nembeera nga tulina bulungi ssente okulaba abasawo nga baagala ssente naye omwana wange alimu afulumizza omutwe bagenda okunkolako enkeera saa 12 naye nga ekirungi omwana yali akyali mulamu nakati waali naye nga namala bbawa ssente okunkolako.
Betty is among the few that escaped death by a whisker upon realizing that her caretaker worked for government. She, however, fears to get pregnant again following the malpractices manifested in government hospitals. This has made officials of Uganda National Consumers Organization to differ from the practice of hospital detention, for it is contrary to international human rights law.
Patient detentions are very rampant. If you went to any community and asked whether they have been detained or they have had a relative who has suffered from the same, you'll be shocked. Every one of them will give you a different narrative. Like we did say, there are different forms of how you can be detained. One of them is when they hold information from you. They are insisting that you go to a specific facility. For instance, they give you diagnosis and they are saying go and buy medicine from only this very hospital, or rather this pharmacy. And they have written in a language that you cannot quickly take to any person to interpret. And the price is beyond that you can afford.
Mebo Kukonda Musinguzi says attention is required from policymakers to ban hospital detention of patients and also raise awareness on its effects.
So we are calling upon government to intensify the supervision and monitoring in the facilities so that patients are not subjected to such conditions that actually lead to their deaths, like we saw that the lady in Ruwero.
The Executive Director, Uganda National Consumers Organization, Robin Akaitiritimba, says patients must pay their hospital dues but should not come with conditions.
Many of these patients, as you have heard, some of them are actually right now imprisoned in hospitals, and they don't want us to speak because they are afraid. Their people are in hospital, and they don't want us to begin to take them to court while people are still in hospital. They worry.
Many hospitals have on many occasions refused to release bodies of the deceased over unpaid bills. Sudat Kaye, UBC News.
Now, researchers want government to provide walking and cycling spaces in Kampala Metropolitan as the COVID-19 pandemic exposed loopholes in the transport and city leadership. This comes after transport for both essential and non-essential workers was stopped, thus affecting mobility.
Mobility patterns in Uganda changed abruptly due to enforcement of COVID-19 restrictions. To contain the pandemic, millions of Ugandans were left with limited means of motorized transport. A study by Makerere University School of Public Health shows that restrictions on COVID-19 prevention affected the mobility of essential workers. Ministry of Health failed to accommodate and facilitate health workers, hence losing more lives due to limited transport.
Reminds us of the need to implement the government-owned transport? Can we have the buses? And the long thing, also the other benefit from that, you're going to have less traffic on the road, less pollution. This pollution causes what they call non-communicable diseases, the cancers, the cardiovascular diseases, all these.
However, Ministry of Health spokesperson Emanuela Enebiona says the ministry tried in its capability to enable workers reach different destinations.
And that's why there was an option of having a patient access for instance, border, provided you had clearance. In our communication, there were exemptions. But I want to note that the earlier first 2 weeks were very challenging for both the patients and also the caregivers. The Ministry of Works and Transport came up with the permits, and these permits were at least acquired through an e-platform. And this was also unlike the first lockdown, where people had to physically come for stickers.
Meanwhile, the lockdown challenged city leadership on how the structure of the Central Business Center looks like.
To change our structural designs of the roads so that they incorporate lanes for different road users. We have cyclists, we have pedestrians, we have cyclists, we have pedestrians, so we must have cycle lanes, we must have bus lanes, we must have walkways for pedestrians. That's how now we want to have our roads designed.
Researchers say it's the role of government to provide essential services and discourage use of private vehicles in high-density urban areas. Shaidat in Nasaku, UBC News.
The Uganda Business and Technical Examinations Board have released a roadmap for the Phase 2 of technical, vocational, education and training examinations to be conducted from January 24th to the 7th of February 2022. The board has appealed to all heads of training institutions and the candidates to adhere to the observance of the SOPs and guidelines on COVID-19.
A total of 15,808 candidates from 223 examination centers are expected to sit for technical, vocational education and training assessment exams across the country. The exams will be done by students pursuing higher national diploma technical and vocational, biological and agricultural sciences, business and humanities programs. The Executive Secretary, Uganda Business and Technical Examinations Board, Onesimus Oyesije, while addressing the media in Ntinda, said the exams are to be conducted in line with the TVET policy.
We are set now as a board to conduct the Phase 2 of TVET examinations. This will be from 24th January 2022 to 7th February 2022. As part of the implementation of TVET reforms, which you are aware of in the TVET policy 2019, the board has involved now. This time we work with practitioners from World of Work in the assessment of real-life projects. This assessment provides avenue for improvement processes to enhance competence in TVET graduates.
He appealed to all heads of training institutions and candidates to adhere and observe standards operating procedures and guidelines on COVID-19 issued by the Ministry of Health and Ministry of Education and Sports.
Of course, we appeal, as a board, we appeal to heads of centers and candidates to adhere and observe standard operating procedures and guidelines on COVID-19 issued by Ministry of Health and Ministry of Education and Sports, respectively.
The board has urged the scouts and supervisors to be vigilant and guard against exams malpractices during this time.
We also encourage candidates to adhere to these rules to avoid involvement in any form of examination malpractices. And as you are aware, our penalties now are very, very stiff. If you are caught in some of these malpractices, sometimes you lose your course completely.
Uganda Business and Technical Examinations Board was established in 2008 by the Act of Parliament with the mandate of streamline, regulate, coordinate and conduct business, technical exams and competence-based assessment, including specialized training and awards.
Furthermore, Entebbe municipality has signed a memorandum of understanding with Sandbird Company aimed at eliminating noise pollution by using the new artificial intelligence technology innovated. The signing of the MOU was witnessed by Dr. Amina Zawede, the permanent secretary to the Ministry of ICT at the Municipal Council in Entebbe.
During the signing of a memorandum of understanding, the experts and innovators from Sandbird Company demonstrate how the artificial intelligence will monitor and collect data regarding noise pollution in Entebbe city.
Noise for it, and you can see it labels that in red about 83 decibels.
According to Dr. Amina Zawede, the permanent secretary to Ministry of ICT, the ministry has an innovation fund to support innovators and pledge to support the new technology.
When I come here to witness the signing of an MOU, it is my support to the sector and drive for everybody to embrace digitization. What is the ministry doing towards this? The ministry has an innovation fund that is geared towards supporting innovators.
Noise pollution has been identified by the World Health Organization as a key challenge for especially developing cities and developing countries. And so being able to monitor noise is extremely important, and this is what we want to do.
Dr. Zawede recommended Sandbird Company for the efforts put in developing the new technology that will monitor noise pollution in Entebbe.
Our intention is to have a roadmap for digitizing, a 10-year roadmap for digitizing this country.
She called upon Ugandans to embrace the artificial intelligence technology that has been innovated, which is in line with Smart City campaign across the country. The mayor of Entebbe municipality, Fabrik Lurenda, says this has come at a time when residents of Entebbe are complaining about increasing noise pollution.
We're going to have all sorts of things, from the nightlife to all that being put back into place. Schools have reopened, so neighborhoods and people in general need to know, or at least we need to find a way that we can monitor and have actual data on which to implement.
Fabrik Lorena expressed commitment to work with Sandbird Company to embrace the new technology and innovation to fight the emerging noise pollution.
I want to give you my commitment that with Entebbe, technology is very welcome, especially if it is for the good of the people and for the good of Uganda.
Having actual data about noise pollution in Entebbe municipality will enable the municipal authorities to enforce the elimination of noise from the municipal EZ. Entebbe municipality is one of the new cities that were established and expect to commence its operations for city status in July 2022. Shaidat Nasaku, Sula Kagugube, UBC News.
Now, furthermore, government has heeded to the plea of industrialists by reducing the cost of electricity to 5 United cents per unit. This has been confirmed by Ruth Nankabera, the Minister of Energy and Mineral Development, while on a spot check of the operations at the Liaoshen Kapeka Industrial Park. Dennis Igua with more details.
After visiting the Mbala Industrial Park over the weekend to ascertain the electricity supply status, the next stop for the Minister of Energy and Mineral Development was the Liaoshen Kapeka Industrial Park in Nakaseke district. Located about 70 kilometers from Kampala, the Kapeka Industrial Park is privately owned and has played a major role in promoting government's industrialization and import substitution goals.
So by making sure that we have these industries producing, we will see less tiles being imported into the country. But the cost of production can be a deterrent. Somebody will say, I would rather buy something from China than that very something made in Uganda, because the one made in Uganda proves to be more expensive because of the cost of production.
With the increase in number of factories in the industrial park, government has heeded to the plea of the industrialists by boosting electricity supply and reducing on the cost of electricity.
I am beginning this month to supply electricity here at 5 US cents, but I am losing 11.3 billion shillings. Okay? if I go to other industries, other industrial parks, the same thing will happen. So my purpose of coming here is to talk to the industrialists here, the owners of these industries, to say that giving them power at 5 cents comes with other costs. So they should do one thing of increasing consumption of power so that I sell in bulk.
Capacity has no challenge because what we have here is about 20 megawatts equivalent. And when we looked at the demand, although they say it's constrained by COVID, it's about 5.4 megawatts. So still, there's still a gap between what we have here and what the industrialists are using. But with increased production, we also have a reserve transformer here, and we're also importing even mobile substations just in case we get an upsurge in the demand.
Since its commissioning in 2017, the investors have sunk an estimated $200 million into Kapeka Industrial Park and provided over 2,500 direct and indirect employment opportunities to Ugandans. Charlotte Amuge for UBC News.
Pay school fees conveniently using MTN Momo. Dial *165 *80 hash. Enter the student code provided by the school. It will show you the student name and the class plus outstanding balance. Enter the amount you want to pay. Enter PIN. You will get a notification confirming payment. It's simple, secure, and convenient.
Everywhere you go, MTN. For an event as big as the 2021 Africa Cup of Nations, you can't afford to miss out. So where do you go when you want to have a full AFCON 2021 experience? You go where everybody goes. When you're looking for the vibe, you go straight to the source. So if you want to have it all, go all out for the 2021 Africa Cup of Nations with GoTV. Catch all 52 must-watch games live on SuperSport on GoTV. GoTV, love it.
It's Freaky Friday from Airtel. Buy or gift. Buy or give.
Get freaky too! Dial *149 *10 hash to load a Freaky Friday bundle for you to enjoy the best offers on voice and data.
To buy a bundle for friends and family, dial *149 *10 5 hash. Freaky Friday with Airtel. Buy or gift a bundle today. Dial *149 *10 hash to get started. Airtel, the smartphone network.
Hello and welcome back from that short break. You're still watching the lunchtime news. Now, a 2019 report put Kampala as one of the most entrepreneurial spaces in the East African region. Now, case in point, we have a number of innovations that have been coming up since, and today we are obliged to be able to share with you some of these innovations. Case in point, Bei Laisi, and today with me in studio I have a profound gentleman, Daniel Kanyerezi. Hello, Daniel. How are you?
Hi, good afternoon. How are you?
Very good. What is Bei Laisi? Tell us about Bei Laisi. What exactly is this innovation?
Well, Bei Laisi is an auction service that works with mobile and USSD. People dial a code and access a list of items. We're working with UBC to further the idea, and what an individual can do right now is to dial a code, which is *210 *3 hash. So when you dial that code, there's a list of items that you can participate to bid on. We have a brand new Bajaj CT125, the latest on the market. We have a laptop, we have a fridge, we have 1 million shillings in cash, among other items. So all one has to do is to dial that code, *210 *3 hash. They select an item and then they pay a bidding fee to participate on that item. And then they dial that code again, back to the item they registered for, and then they write the bid amount. Now what is interesting here is the bid amount is not deducted from their mobile money or their mobile wallet. The money stays with them. They're just giving us an amount that, well, I'll buy that brand new Bajaj at say 2.5 million. So if they are the highest bidders, we will call them. They'll come here at UBC, pay their cash, and they'll go away with the item.
I guess that's a very interesting concept. I mean, bringing auctioning to the viewers, especially knowing that we are living in a free market economy.
Oh yes.
You know, the forces of demand and supply can determine a price. However, what guarantees that these products are actually good?
Interesting question. Before we started Bail IC, we went in the market to try to see which brands really carry weight. And some of the brands that I've mentioned, of course, it's Bajaj. If you're speaking of motorcycles, it is Bajaj. If you're speaking of TV, you're talking Hisense. If you're talking of fridges, you're talking either Changhong or Hisense. That's like those are the brands to think about. And also every young person out there who is aspiring to live a certain life wants quality. So we really shop for the best. I can assure the UBC viewer right now that these items are bought and these items are at the premises of UBC and of course at the Hisense stores. So we moved schedule a little bit. I think this is something that I need to tell the nation. We should have done our first giveaway on the 10th of February, but we've moved that to the 28th. Why? Because we have gained a bit of momentum and traffic in terms of people participating. And also, you know, the African eye and beliefs. The people want to see things happen before they can move a notch higher. It's also interesting to note that we have a long-lasting partnership with the public broadcaster. We're going to do this for the next 2 years. So we thought, why not do the first giveaway next Friday, so some of these items can go and then we bring in brand new items.
Okay.
Yeah.
Going by the name Bei Laisi, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't understand what Laisi means, Laisi is simply affordable. So Bei Laisi, affordable price. Going by the name of Bei Laisi, how do you plan to go about, you know, these products vis-a-vis their market price? Because if a Bajaj on the market is 4 million, how are you going to auction it and what price would be the bidding price?
To be honest, we are giving viewers of UBC a chance to name their price. They are calling the shots now. It's not about how much the Bajaj is selling, because that bike is selling about 4,800,000. But we are selling that price, we're selling that Bajaj at a price you want. So you can say, I can buy this Bajaj at 3 million. As long as you're the highest bidder, we'll sell it to you. We don't have to hold on to it. We'll give it
even to you. Even if the highest bidder was 2 million?
Even if the highest bidder was 2 million, we are selling to you that Bajaj.
Wow, that's quite interesting. Now, which brings me to another question. When is the first auction sale? I want you to clearly stipulate that.
All right.
So that we can know.
The first auction sale, ladies and gentlemen, is happening next Friday. That is 28th January here at UBC. But as we build up to the crescendo, we were thinking of activities that we can do, and one of them is we shall call the highest bidders. We are looking forward to doing those calls on Thursday morning, so we give people some ample time to either travel from wherever so they can be here on Friday in time to pick their items. Now, you have to come with your cash. That is how it works. Once we call you, please come with the money you said you will pay. Otherwise, if we call you and you don't have the cash, we'll take the second best.
The second best?
Yes.
Well, what if the whole chain of bidders does not have that money, and you know they were just
To be honest, I'll be honest with you, every time we have received a higher bid, we have gotten to interact with the bidders, and they have assured us, most of them have told us they have the money to pay for these items. Yes.
Okay, and then how do you plan to go about, how does one bid? With mobile money, you said?
Now, this is what happens. I'll run you through the mechanics one more time.
Yeah.
So you dial the code *210 *3 #3 #. Ideally, I think it should be on your screen. Yeah, *210 *3 #3 #. So when you dial that code, you pick an item of interest. There's a boda, a Bajaj CT125. We have a brand new laptop. We have school fees worth 1 million. There's a fridge, among other items. So you dial and click on the item that you want. So after you select that item, you pay a bidding fee. The mobile phone will tell you, please confirm a deduction of 10,000 shillings as a bidding fee. So once that is confirmed, you dial the code again. Go back to the item because you'll have registered. Now the bidding process is free. You can bid as many times. Even if you see the
as
item,
many times and as many products.
for as long as it's worth, yes.
Okay.
You can choose to bid on all the items as long as you have your cash.
Okay.
Because the end game is you have to pay for the item and take it.
So question is, the 10K per bidding at any for any product or any number of times? 10K?
No, the 10K is a one-off.
It's a one-off.
It's a one-off. It's a sign-up fee. It's a registration fee. You're buying your way in.
Oh.
So after, then you access the service of bidding.
Okay.
So with the bidding, you can find that the person who has the most money on a mobile phone has 125,000 shillings. You can choose to say, I am going to buy that mobile phone at 125,100 shillings. That automatically makes you the highest bidder. And that's what makes it interesting. We'll be happy handing over an item to someone, handing over an item to, no, not you, Mark, because you're not eligible. Actually.
I'm eligible. I mean,
no. So we are clear.
I have money. So
no.
what makes me not eligible?
All UBC employees, friends, staffers, anyone who has come around this place to even use the Urano, you are not eligible.
Okay. So, which brings me to the next question. Yeah. When does this take effect, and why should Ugandans take part?
Well, a simple question. We all know the effects of COVID-19. COVID shattered many dreams. Many people had their money and wanted to buy some of these things. In fact, as we're thinking about these items, we're thinking about items that can change lives. Imagine someone bids on a border, they take it at 1.5 million shillings. We all know what bikes are doing right now. They are contributing to some kamane in homes. We know that people are using these borders for business. You can resell it at 4.8 in the market, you know. There is someone who wants to buy a brand new laptop, but they don't have the 1.4 million shillings to buy it. But actually they can get into Bei Laisi and name their price of 200,000 shillings, and they can buy that laptop and use it for their coursework or whatever, or even choosing to use it to empower their businesses. So
it's about the odds being in one's favor?
Not really, because there is no rocket science here. All you have to do is to just keep checking your phone and know that if I'm bidding on this item, I'm not going to go as high as this. And so we are clear to UBC viewers and the nation, Bei Laisi is not gambling. So we are clear. We are selling goods via auction. This has happened at your local church. In Uganda, they call it amakungura, you know, where they fundraise for an item and they say, okay, now we have this pineapple, it's available for auction, and then someone walks away with it at 20K. So we are getting that whole process and we're putting it on the mobile phone.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
On the mobile phone, and does this happen in such a way that the bidding opens and closes? How does that work? Because, for example, if I bidded today,
yes,
can I still be able to monitor that tomorrow and maybe a few days?
Oh yes.
And then when does it close to say that I can get that?
Interesting question. First of all, when you bid on an item, when you insert your bid, the phone will tell you, the prompt will tell you that the highest bidder on a laptop has 70,000 shillings. Please put in an amount higher than 70,000. So you write the amount which is higher than 70,000 and say it's going to be 71,000. That's what I can afford to pay, you know. So you keep checking because these are competitive products. Anytime anything can happen. And like I told you, ideally we should have closed the first auction or the first bidding process on the 10th of February. But we're moving our schedule early, so we give Ugandans the confidence to believe in our product and what we're doing, to know that actually these guys are legit. Actually, this sale is happening.
How many products do you have listed?
For now we have 7 because the short code can only take 7. And one of those interesting items is that we added about 3 days ago is 30 liters of fuel. To try to address what is happening in the country.
So there's 30 liters of fuel, there is a Bajaj, what else?
There's a laptop.
There's school fees worth?
There's school fees worth 1 million.
1 million.
There is also a fridge, 330 liters. And by the way, all these items are brand new.
Okay.
We are not selling anything old. We're not selling stuff that is faulty to you. We are selling brand new items. But what is going to change is we're not going to give you a receipt from Hisense or wherever. We're going to give you a receipt from Bei Laisi telling you that you bought that laptop at 100,000 shillings.
Well, Daniel Kanyerezi, ladies and gentlemen, the Public Relations Officer at Bei Laisi, a new innovation here, ready to propose new ways of buying things. Whether it is cheap, whether it is expensive, the highest bidder takes it. My name is Wadulo Mark Arnold. Thank you for joining us, and stay tuned for more programming coming your way.